happening, Saints fans? Hope y'all are having a wonderful day. New Orleans Saints training camp day 1 just wrapped up. So in today's video, we're going to be going through all of the news, notes, takeaways, everything that you as a Saints fan need to know from day 1. So I want to encourage you really fast to stay in the know around all things black and gold. So that way you can know what's happening at training camp. You can go to lunch, you can go to the office, you can go to school, you can go hang out with your friends, and you can say, I know what's going on with this team. I know what's happening with my New Orleans Saints. So be sure to subscribe. That way you can be a smarter fan. We're pretty damn close to getting to 28,450. Just need a few more to go. And I do want to give an update really fast of our July sub battle. We're winning. We got a nice lead, but I know Falcons today is going to come back swinging very hard at the very end of this month. So let's bury our baby brothers. Fun fact, I'm not proud to admit it, but they have beat us every single month in our sub battle in 2024. So, yeah, I'm not okay with that. Let's win. Subscribe. I want to kick the teeth out of the Falcons, and if you don't want to, this ain't the channel for you. All right, let's get into the training camp news. Alvin Kamara is the first topic because he's the most important topic, and everyone wants to know what's going on with number 41. In terms of practice, we got reports yesterday that Alvin Kamara was present. He was at training camp. He reported, and the expectation was that he was going to participate. And, well, he participated in full fashion. No limitations. As of right this second, there is no holdout and no hold-in going on. So that is really, really good news for the New Orleans Saints and for all of us fans that don't want to lose Alvin Kamara. Now, he is still seeking more guarantees in his contract. He's not looking for more money, and he confirmed that today in his press conference, which we'll discuss later on. He's not seeking money this year. He's not looking for more money. He's looking for guarantees because he has no guaranteed money in 2025 and beyond. So Alvin Kamara just wants to be a Saint for life, and he wants to retire in the black and gold, and he's been very vocal about that for the past few seasons. Now, I do firmly believe that AK-41 is a huge X factor for this Saints offense because of his receiving ability, because of his dual threat ability, and because he is such a dynamic football player who has so much talent. I think that it's extremely important for him to be present and participating at these practices. So shout out to AK-41 for handling this stuff like a man and getting to work and letting the money come to him, because I truly do believe it will come at some point. Now, really quick, I do want to share a few notable quotes from Alvin Kamara's presser because these are important things to discuss. He said, quote, "I'm here, I'm for the team, I'm working." Doesn't matter what's going on. He is here, he is present, he's not going to let this contract thing be a problem. He's not going to let this keep him out from practice. He's not going to hold out. He's not holding in. He wants to play. He wants to help out his team, and he's a phenomenal teammate for that reason and for plenty of others, actually. And he said, I want to be a Saint. I want to retire here. This is not news. This is a very common trend for Alvin Kamara. Like I said a few minutes ago, we've been seeing him say this multiple times over the past few seasons. And the big one right here, I'm not asking for anything crazy. That's just my perception, though. So in that quote, I interpret it that way, or in the way of Alvin Kamara doesn't think he's asking for way too much money, doesn't think he's asking for way too much, extra years on his contract, but that's what he thinks. He doesn't necessarily know if that's what the front office thinks, so that's why he's saying that's just my perception, though. Now, a question that I think is very fair to ask is what happens if a deal doesn't get done? Well, Alvin Kamara said, I don't have a timetable. I plan on playing. So if, as of right now, on July 24th at 4:09 p.m. Central Time, Alvin Kamara does plan on playing, regardless if a contract gets figured out or not. I think it's just a matter of time before something does get figured out. Maybe it happens a few weeks into the season, but I think this is really good news for all of us that Alvin Kamara isn't going to be a distraction. He's not trying to be a diva, and that's one thing that I love about AK. He's a football player, and the man just wants to get to work. Now, let's talk about some other running back news because we have an injury update, and it's here we go again. Kendre Miller injury. Feels like we talked about this a lot of times for a guy who's only been on the team for a year and some change. He did get hurt during individual drills. It's reported that it's a hamstring injury, and he did leave practice early. And I do want to really quickly say shout out to John Hendricks, Nick Underhill, Mike Triplett, Ross Jackson, Catherine Terrell, and all of the awesome media people that are actually on the ground, boots on the ground at UC Irvine. So really quick, got to give them a quick plug, give them all a follow on social media. Nick Underhill did report this around Dennis Allen, saying this for Kendre Miller's injury. And I'm going to be honest, I absolutely love this from Dennis Allen. It's showing some fire. It's showing that he understands this is not a good thing. Like, I hate to say it, get your shit together, get packing. Like, I think that this is really smart from Dennis Allen. That's a player, in terms of talking about Kendre Miller, who needs to figure out how to stay healthy because you can't make the team in the training room. Couldn't agree more. I genuinely could not agree more. But we do have some good news in the injury front. Wide receiver Chris Olave. If you guys remember, he was put on the NFI list not too long ago, and he was wearing the red non-contact jersey a couple times late into mandatory minicamp, but he wore a red non-contact jersey today. He had no limitations. He was a full participant, so that's good news around Chris Olave because we all want to see number 12 on the field, and we all want to see all of our players stay healthy because injuries are the worst part of sports, and there is nothing you can do to convince me otherwise. But really quick, if you want the New Orleans Saints to stay healthy and you want the team to not suffer any more injuries the rest of the offseason, I need you to hit the thumbs up icon. Like today's video. I mean, we've already lost one player definitely for the season in Ryan Ramczyk. So let's try and get some good juju going. Let's get some good vibes around the New Orleans Saints. If you want to stay healthy, hit the thumbs up icon and like today's video. All right, so Mike Triplett over at NewOrleans.football, he had this report around the offensive line, and I know that this is an important topic for all of us Saints fans because the offensive line right now is just, something that needs to get figured out, if you ask me. Now, he's saying that there was no change to the Saints starting offensive line on day one. Trevor Penning lined up on the right tackle spot. Nick Saldiveri lined up as a left guard, and that's what we saw at minicamp and at OTAs. But Landon Young took some snaps at right tackle, competing with Trevor Penning, and Lucas Patrick at left guard in the with the first team and walked through some competitions, could emerge. Oli Udo, a good swing tackle. He was another possible right tackle candidate. Lucas Patrick saw time at left guard, center, and right guard. So it's looking like they're trying to figure out the offensive line situation. I know the Ryan Ramczyk thing was something we all expected to happen, but that doesn't mean that it's something they still can't. That doesn't mean that they have the answers and they have it figured out. So this is the time to get their offensive line figured out. And I will add this, Justin Huron, he also was dealing with a little bit of an injury, but as of right now, it's not expected to be anything too concerning. So reports in terms of Trevor Penning and sort of kind of tying in the defensive line here, Carl Granderson looked really good. He absolutely dusted Trevor Penning on a rut. Trevor Penning gave up the sack as a right tackle to Carl Granderson. So one shout out to Big Grando for making things happen, and I'm excited to see what he can do this season. But I will also say this, I'm a little bit worried about Trevor Penning. I mean, this is year 3. It's now or never. If you don't figure it out early in the season, your NFL career is as good as done. You better learn UFL, buddy, because at this point in time, you have nothing but pressure. You have to figure it out. And I'm not trying to sit here and be a critical person to Trevor Penning, but as somebody who lined up in the offensive line, who lined up in the trenches, handle your frickin' business, do your job, and execute your assignment. I don't know what else to say. There's a reason that he got drafted in the first round. How about we start living up to that reason? Now, I want you to be honest for me, Saints fans. Are you confident in this offensive line unit? Just type confident if you are. Type worried if you're just like me and a little bit worried about some of these players. Now, coming up right around the corner, we're going to be discussing Chase Young and how he looked at training camp because he did report today, and he's looking good, and he's looking buff, and I'll tell you what, I am so excited for Chase Young in the Big Easy. But I got to give a big-time shout-out to today's presenting sponsor, and it is Game Time, my favorite ticketing app. And if you're just like me and you enjoy going to events like concerts, comedy shows, and live sporting events, you have to check out the Game Time app. They have killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and the lowest price guaranteed. Game Time takes the work out of buying MLB tickets, NFL tickets, college football tickets, esports. Doesn't matter. You can get tickets to any live event if you use the Game Time app. And if you download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS, you see it at the bottom of your screen, you will get $20 off your first purchase. And hey, I know that the LSU Tigers are taking on USC out in Las Vegas here early in the football season. So if you want to save $20, take that to a roulette table and try and double it. I think the Game Time app is a good place for you to start. So terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS. That's code CHATSPORTS to get $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. I absolutely love Game Time. I've been able to create endless memories with the app, and I hope that you can join me in creating some yourself. So let's talk about Chase Young, because he did participate in walkthroughs, which is really good news considering he had neck surgery just a handful of months ago. He did not participate in team drills, but he was working with trainers off to the side. So good news around him right there. And the reports are that he's looking good. He's looking in shape. He looks fast. He looks explosive. So I think that right now, all of us Saints fans, we can sit here and we can be cautiously optimistic about Chase Young. And I think that it's also important to know that he did participate in special teams walkthroughs at the end of practice. So it's not like he practiced the first half, didn't do anything in the second half. Like they're they are progressively getting him work and bringing him back to being at a full level. So I think that this is all good, positive news around Chase Young. And I'm just going to say this. I mean, can we all sit here and appreciate for a second the fact that the New Orleans Saints have the player who was number 2 overall drafted just a few seasons ago on our team? I mean, this guy isn't even 28 years old. Like, he's on his 3rd team. He was the number 2 overall pick. I absolutely hope that he can ball out. I'm so optimistic for Chase Young, and I think that he's going to be a good player for this defensive line. I think that he's going to bring another element of speed and aggression and explosiveness, to the defensive line that hasn't been there in the past couple of seasons, especially with Cam Jordan getting a little bit older, dealing with some injuries and whatnot. I just think that Chase Young is a perfect complement to what the New Orleans Saints needed on their defensive line. And to be honest, I want to see the pressures turn into production, and I think Chase Young can help that happen. Now, Ross Jackson does a phenomenal job on Locked On Saints. He does Saints News Network. I mean, he's all over the place. Ross Jackson is the guy. I highly encourage you to give him a follow. Dear close friend and a friend of the program here at Chat Sports. I thought linebackers Willie Gay and Demario Davis were standout players, which I keep saying this, and I'm going to keep beating this drum. I think Willie Gay might be one of the most underrated moves that the Saints made this offseason. Bringing in a very explosive, very high-energy, fast-paced linebacker who can compete with Pete Werner is a really, really exciting thing. And I honestly think that Willie Gay could unseat Pete Werner to start alongside and next to Demario Davis. But I also think we should expect to see the rotation be used quite a bit. Now, really quick update on special teams, because special teams, special plays, special players. Shout out Sketch. Blake Groupie on day 1, he went 8 for 8. So you love to see that. Everything was within 35 yards. So, want to see him play a little bit better. Want to see him continue to prove that he can be a good player and prove that he's a capable kicker. And I will add this, in terms of Blake Groupie last year, in kicks from 0 to 40 yards, he missed 2. So, that's good news that he went perfect. But I will also add Lou Hedley. He did struggle a little bit today at training camp. He came off a pretty strong finish to mandatory minicamp, so we'll have to see if Matt Hayball can unseat Lou Hedley to be the punter. But right now, between Charlie Smith and Blake Groupie, it looks like it's favoring Blake Groupie. Now, really quick reminder, if you're still hanging out, that means you're still learning about the New Orleans Saints, and that means you still probably don't hate the content. So I encourage you to subscribe to the channel, and I'll tell you what, if in a week you absolutely hate it, you can't stand what we're doing, go ahead and unsubscribe. But I promise you one thing, I'm pretty sure you'll be sticking around. So lock us in. Y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.